Going on?
What's up, brother?
How
How you
you
doing?
doing, man?
Love it. I love it in the poster in the background. Is that your garage gym setup back there? What's going on?
Yeah, it's my basement gym.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I used to have a pool table, lounge chairs, a lot of movies and rappers would do music videos down here and movie scenes and that's not my life anymore. And lounging around and playing pool now it's all about fitness. So we actually during quarantine when I realized the gyms were not going to open up, what I did was I put a couple ads out and people paid top dollar for the pool table I had. Guys that we own big houses in Jersey. We're like, I'm expected to be home a lot, so I like a pool table. So I got rid of everything, and for the same price that I sold it for, I picked up all this equipment, you know. And I was so lucky because I got a set of dumbbells. I'll show you over here. And this dumbbell set was
Nice.
nearly impossible to get. You saw how hard it was to get like at-home gym equipment, and I bumped into some people that recognized me that used to work for me at one of these gym places that sell equipment, and they said, "I'm going to sell you the stuff that's off the rack." So I was lucky.
Awesome, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you, thank you. How you been?
It's good, man. It's funny, we're like in some different places, but your documentary really came at a good time for me. This year was like, the last kind of part of my journey of a 5-year process. I've been involved with powerlifting as a competitor for over 14 years. I, was a super heavyweight. I was 340 pounds. And, one of my goals was to squat 900 pounds in competition. And I was able to do that.
Wow.
As we say, I was kind of like strong and useless. And the only time I really felt good was under the bar. So 5 years ago, after I had accomplished that goal, I just decided that I wanted to start making healthier changes. And, I've been a strength coach for 14 years and I just really wasn't practicing what I was preaching. And it was kind of heavy on my heart. And I just knew I needed to, in order for me to kind of move forward with my business, with my career, and in order for me to help people, I need to help myself first. So I was supposed to compete in the Long Island Championship in May. And due to COVID, shows kept getting canceled. And it's been like, it might have been a blessing in disguise because it's kind of forced me to stay on the diet. It's forced me to kind of focus on the long game and continue forward. But
Right.
I found a show in New Jersey that's, it's like an unsanctioned show, but Mr. America on October
Yeah.
10th. So I'm less
Nice.
than 2 weeks out for getting on stage. So I'm really excited. And, seeing your transformation and seeing your documentary, like, just kind of helped kind of get me a little bit fire under my butt. Cause it's been like, I tried for like 6 other shows and they've all been canceled, and it's definitely taken the wind out of my sails a little bit. But as you know, it's a long-term process. And I'm just excited to start this new chapter and just kind of really embracing, like you said, it's a lifestyle. It's not
It
just,
really is.
it's not
COVID
just,
for me did the opposite, because I lost 125 pounds in 9 months. So it was so hard to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. So I got a chance to go on a proper off season. So to really go on an off season bulk and really put on size that I didn't have, by getting so lean and losing so much weight. So having to not have to do the cardio and the HIIT and all that other stuff was kind of a different recipe for me, but I really enjoyed it because, you take on more calories, but you're wiser with your food choices, and really gives you a chance to see what your body can do with the right caloric intake and the right rest, when your cortisone levels are on point. And so you're able to really grow using simple methods like sleep and recovery. And so it was kind of awesome to really go through that, because just like you, I had a bunch of shows lined up, and at the end of the documentary, I put it in text, they all got canceled because of COVID. And so I would have never been able to put on size and build legs and do the things that I couldn't do when I was losing so much weight. So it was kind of cool to be able to kind of lift heavy and pack on size.
Awesome, my man. Yeah. How have you been like trying to like lift a little bit heavier now? Or just like doing like, different, like, have you changed up your training quite a bit?
Yeah, I don't do 3 a days anymore. I do 1 a day, sometimes, 2 a days, depending. But right now, I love experimenting with my body and working with different coaches and seeing what their approach is. and then, you know, coming up with my own formula, you know. And so what I noticed was I completely changed my metabolism. You know, I was on a off-season bulk diet, and then the minute I decided to go on a cut, which was 2 weeks ago, I lost like 9 pounds in 4 days. So we had to kind of do like a refeed, and that was without any cardio. So now we kind of have to, it was, first of all, it was difficult for me to gain 35 pounds. My goal was to go from 174, which I was in this picture, to 210, which would have been a healthy weight and growth. So it was hard. I was struggling. I was stuck at 200, and I was struggling to gain those 10 extra pounds. And then finally, when I reached the 210 point, I said, okay, I'm ready to go back down. I put on the size, I put on legs and bigger back and all the body parts that I wanted to work on. And immediately the weight dropped, and basically I'm a different human being, you know, completely. So even, you know, going off the diet a little bit with some of the things you're not really supposed to have, I did that too, you know, in some of those family moments and stuff. But it still struggled to put on the weight. And so then when I finally put it on, and now we're actually losing the weight, but slowly in a controlled manner so that I don't lose any muscle. And then I'm going to turn the cardio back on when I need it. Right now I'm just focused on getting my NEAT activities, at least 10,000 steps a day I do, which is great. One day I did almost like 11,500 steps. I lost like a pound. So I have to actually really be careful now in terms of how fast I lose weight, which was never a scenario in my life, you know?
I feel you, brother. I feel like I could just look at a piece of cake and gain a couple of pounds. And I've never had trouble putting size on. And I've kind of noticed too that, you know, your metabolism does change, your body. It's pretty amazing how, you know, the machinery and everything works, especially when you're treating it right, you're getting enough rest, and you're eating more like whole foods and things like that. I think that what was really interesting for me is, you know, having the strength background. I never really realized how much kind of muscle and like my legs and my, you know, from the heavy squatting, the heavy deadlifting, I had a lot of kind of muscle kind of built up over the years. I just never knew what it looked like.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool, but I've never really been, the last time I was this light was, you know, my high school years, you know, and that was after, and even like, you know, as a ninth grader, I actually was chubby too. Like I was 275 pounds as I was a heavyweight wrestler. And then through activity, you know, I got down to about like 190, 195. And I've been kind of fluctuating between like 198 and like 203. I'd probably be like in like 195 on stage. And yeah, my kind of goals as well after the show, just put some size back on, but try to do it in an intelligent way. I've never really done the bulking thing, I think, correctly. And I really want to try to kind of manage that and kind of do that in a good way and do it slowly over time. I think that's it's tough, especially, you know, like you mentioned, the family dinners, you know, the Sunday pasta and all that.
Yeah.
You know, come from a family of heavy, you know, big eaters, and that's always, you know, the social time is so important. But I figure what better time to do it than the holiday time and put some weight back on.
Yeah.
But just do it in a controlled way. So are you like implementing like any I know you talked about the refeeds. Do you kind of do that by like the scale, or how are you kind of like?
We do that both things by visual check-ins. You know, we see like right now, 200.5 pounds. So 200.5 pounds. So basically I look completely different than I did last year at 200.5 pounds. So it's a totally different thing. So you can't, the scale really, because muscle weighs more than fat. So I built a tremendous amount of legs. And what's interesting, I was always into lifting heavy, but there's only so heavy you can lift when you don't have the calories in you. But, you know, aesthetic design bodybuilding is different than strength bodybuilding, you know, because there's guys out there that are super strong, but, you know, their legs aren't that big, but they can squat. Like, you know, I'll give you an example. You said 900 pounds. Larry Wheeler just did 900 pounds. If you saw that post from yesterday, that's amazing. But there are guys out there that can't lift 900 pounds, but their legs are like, you know, massive. So it's, I had to really kind of understand the difference between aesthetic bodybuilding for design and, you know, tempo and reps and negatives versus just going all out like a bull being really strong, you know. One thing I was very careful about was injury. You know, I am 43 years old. And so, you know, throughout this whole process, I didn't get injured except during COVID. So I had one of these Bowflex adjustable weight sets before I got the dumbbells. And, you know, they go up to 95 pounds. which is great. But you know, if you have a 95-pound dumbbell and you're doing a shoulder or a chest press, you can drop it on the floor when you're fatigued. Those weights, you cannot drop them. You have to place them on the floor. So I actually put a little bit too much strain on my rotator cuff, and that kind of messed me up a little bit for a couple weeks. I had to let it recover. Luckily, I didn't injure anything, but you know, you have to be careful, especially if you're not using proper equipment. You can get hurt on anything, you know. So I'm always careful. I only go about 80% of what my strength is. Although lately, in order to build legs, I've been going 110%, you know.
I think there's something special about when you're really kind of pushing the legs like close to failure. I mean, that just wipes you out like way different than just, you know, doing a shoulder workout or an arm workout. And for me, like I always enjoyed squatting and deadlifting, you know, getting into powerlifting. And I don't know if you did any sports growing up, but I played football, I wrestled. So training lower body was always like in the routine. And my coaches always drilled into me, like, you know, your leg strength is so important. And I just always like loved squatting. I didn't really learn how to do it properly until like later on. I did like, you know, kind of like the good morning, you know, kind of squat for a while.
Yeah.
But, you know, I developed really strong legs, strong back. And that was always something that I just kind of enjoyed quite a bit.
Both. I love both. I actually wasn't squatting or deadlifting during my entire transformation. That's why I didn't really have legs and a huge back. So, you know, now after the show, I incorporated that, and things changed so much, not only for my legs, but my core, my obliques, my abs, you know, everything kind of changed. The endorphins, everything, the energy changed, you know, and now I got my wife into it, and she's deadlifting 225 pounds like nothing. She's squatting me on her shoulders, you know, so, you know, it's something that's really great, you know, squatting and deadlifts. Those are your bread and butter exercises.
Yeah, and I think, you know, to your point, especially like as my kind of calories have dropped lower and things like that, I've gotten more away from like really like loading my spine heavy and being more controlled. But we have a couple of cool pieces at our gym. We have a couple of different belt squat machines, you know, utilizing more of, you know, the leg press and the hack squat and things like that. But I do believe like just doing some sort of squatting and deadlifting motion. And, you know, you mentioned before too, like there's definitely a big difference between just, you know, working on strength and then actually kind of developing the muscle, shaping the muscle. I mean, just I'm trying to do like little things to kind of get my hamstrings to pop out a little bit more, slowing the tempo down, and like really like being like kind of in the muscle and having a mind muscle connection.
Yes, mind muscle connection is key.
It's different than just moving weight. And that's something that I had to learn, you know, as opposed to, you know, as a power lifter, you're just trying to move the weight from point A to point B. Yeah. Then you're actually trying to like feel your hamstring or feel your glutes or feel your quads.
Yeah.
The sensation is completely different, and it's
totally different.
It's
totally
really
different.
It's really
different type of pain tolerance. You know, one of the things one of my coaches and trainers said, you know, when you're on stage, nobody says, "Oh man, that person can bench 400 pounds." You know,
don't care.
They're just looking at the look. So you have to kind of train for what you're competing for. And sure, there are moments where you got to lift heavy, you got to go hard, you got to really put the pressure on the muscle. But there's a lot of benefits into that mind-muscle connection that you talked about, really getting in there and posing and all that kind of stuff, and holding and squeezing and negative reps and slow reps, all that kind of stuff. It's excruciating, but, you know, the results are there. And one of the things that I like now that I'm really enjoying the training on a different level is feeding the muscle immediately after the workout. So what's great is like it's like watering a plant. So after I get a hard session in, you know, I eat that meal or the meals throughout the day, and I feel the minerals, and I feel, you know, the muscles being fed, and they respond, you know, the next day accordingly. So I'm helping them grow. So it helps you a lot with keeping your mind and focused on, you know, I'm eating this because there's a goal, there's a purpose, and I'm growing, you know. So I really like this part of my journey in terms of like growth and packing on muscle and all that without having to do all the cardio. Because you see the results and you're eating more purposeful, and you're like, I shouldn't eat that pizza because that's going to do zero for me, but just, you know, make me have to do more cardio. So why don't I just eat clean and get the actual results and wake up the next day feeling satisfied, seeing the growth.
I think too, like to your point, I think when you're focusing on not only, you know, the diet, but also how the diet impacts your performance, you don't really, maybe, I know for myself, if I'm eating good, like whole foods, like I don't really have those cravings anymore. Like your body's going to crave, cleaner sources of carbohydrates, cleaner sources of protein, fruits and veggies. And like, I'll be honest, like especially when I have like a refeed or a higher carb day and I'm still eating like, cleaner, more whole foods, and I feel better like on it. I'm not really, craving the pizza, the pasta, the pancakes as much.
Yeah.
It's more about like the amount when you're dieting, like you want to eat a little bit more, but when you're kind of giving your body what it needs in terms of micronutrients, in terms of macronutrients, you just feel better.
You'd be surprised how, if you go to the butcher shop and you buy your meats, let's say, for example, they're a hell of a lot better than the fancy restaurants. I just took my family out to dinner to one of my favorite restaurants in Manhattan. It's called Fogo de Chao, right? It's a Brazilian steakhouse. And they constantly bring the steak over, all different kinds. It's awesome. I used to love going there when I was obese all the time. And so I took the kids and the wife there, and we were eating the meat, which first of all, is filled with the wrong type of salt and sodium. So that's number one. Number two, we were tasting it. We're like, you know what? This is not even half as good as the stuff that we cook at home. And it's not even the best quality, even though it's sold at the best quality prices. So once you start eating clean, you start understanding that when you go out to eat or you're eating in someone else's home, you're intaking unnecessary calories, sodium and oil and whatnot. And it's really not going to do anything but make you lethargic and make you pay for it in the mirror. So
Cool.
That kind of shock therapy, I think, for somebody who's obese, helps, when you're trying to really cure, because obesity is mainly psychological. It's not so physical. It's mainly psychological. Like you said, I'm half Italian, so I grew up around pasta and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of romanticism around food. All the good endorphins, all the good feelings is when you're at the dinner table with the family. As a child, you remember those things. So when you're going out to dinner or you're at a friend's house, you're trying to recapture those happy feeling endorphins through food. And so, now when I go visit friends, and I have a couple of obese friends that are still obese, I see, their whole family's obese. They're all eating at the table. They're all past their smiles, all these good memories. How do you take that away from somebody, So it is very difficult because unlike any other addiction, you can't smoke crack at the dinner table, but you can eat a big bowl of pasta, which is the equivalent of someone getting their fix, their food fix.
Did you have to like cut some people out, at least for a period of time, or like, as far as when you started your transformation and what was that?
Yeah. I basically, you're the average of the 5 people that you communicate with every day. So I completely changed my circle. I wanted to know, I was an outsider. And, 2 years ago, I would have never been on a live with you because there was nothing there unless there was some sort of a business opportunity between us.
Right.
So, as an outsider, I wanted to see what these super fit people were doing. And I noticed the pattern. I was at the gym, they're at the gym. I'm at the gym, they're at the gym. I'm like, why do you even need to go to the gym? You look incredible. They're there constantly. So then I took it to the next level. I started going to lunch with them. I started going to dinner with them. I noticed they're eating out of Tupperware, or they're like, watching what they're eating. And I'm like, wait, you got to watch what you eat? And the ones that were not watching what they were eating, for 45 minutes, the conversation is how they're going to pay for it in the gym for the rest of the week. So I'm like, wait a minute. This is not genetics. This is not, you weren't born this way. You can't eat whatever you want like I thought. Okay, you actually have to put in work. So similar to what people would do with me on a business front, people would come and say, what's a day in the life of a millionaire like? I'd say, okay, come for a ride in my Rolls Royce. And they see how hard I work, and they were in shock. They were like, I can't believe you have to work this hard. You're working 18-hour days. I'm like, yeah, that's how you get rich and stay rich, So, and then the same kind of aha moment I had by hanging around all those people. And then just, my feed on Instagram was filled with, guys with muscles and 6-packs and all that kind of stuff. So I was reprogramming my brain. So all I kept seeing was guys talking about nutrition, guys talking about eating, guys eating out of Tupperware, guys eating chicken and rice and measuring their food. And it was the same thing. These guys looked incredible. They were watching what they were eating. I'm like, okay, so that's the secret. You don't want to go to a Chinese restaurant and order pizza, right? So I was going to CrossFit, which was okay, but the guys with incredible shapes they were all bodybuilding. So I saw that you had
Yes.
to do the bodybuilding in order to get that shape. It wasn't just about jumping jacks and burpees and climbing a rope. You actually had to do more. And those guys were moonlighting bodybuilding, and that's how they were getting that incredible shape and incredible figure. So I knew I had to put in the work, and I said, okay, this is very easy, because in life there's no guarantees. Relationships, business, anything. But in fitness, you can guarantee your result based on what you put in your mouth and what you put into the gym and your workout. So I said, I'm going to go for something that's not a long shot. This is a guarantee. And so I just followed the plan.
Yeah, I think I loved what you said about, like, you know, oh yeah, it's like you must be so lucky, or this is so easy. You know, you must not work that much, and it all comes down to, like, what are your daily actions, and you know, those are gonna, whatever, every choice that you make has a benefit and a consequence to it, and you just got to make better choices over time. But I think a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people, you know, they want to, like, oh, they worried about, like, when's their next cheat meal and things like that. And it's like, you haven't, like, we're not there yet. You know, you have to, like, and if you've been eating like a slob for 10 years, it might take you, you know, that long to kind of undo some of those habits. It's going to take some time.
Sure.
It's hard. And, you know, people might even see, you know, your transformation or my transformation. And I try to tell people, like, hey, like, for me, this was like a 5-year process. And the first 2 years, really was just kind of dialing in my sleep, dialing in my stress, getting the habits in place. And then when you start to get some momentum going, I'm sure there's periods of time where, like, you know, a month or 2, 3 months, you saw a big change. And then other times it might be slower changes. I'm sure putting the muscle on, it's probably taking you a lot longer. It's going to take you a little bit longer to put, you know, get some size in the legs and build up that back. But you focus on the process, you focus on the day-to-day things, and that's what's going to lead you to that end result in the end.
Well, you know, I'm still dumbfounded by people that don't get encouraged by a weight loss journey, because there's always wins. In the gym, there's a win. You're doing one more rep. You're going 5 pounds heavier. You know, you're doing one more push-up. You know, you're losing weight. You're fitting into those pants, into that shirt. I mean, there's so much encouragement along the way. Following the plan, there's so much encouragement along the way that it's insane to actually not continue to be turned on by the process. You know, it's nuts. So the reality is that you are giving up too early, or you're not following the plan if you're giving up on your weight loss journey, because there's so many positive things from the morning, from the minute you wake up. You know, if you stick to the diet, that's a win. You know, if you go to sleep, and you didn't cheat all day, that's a win. Plus you're winning at the gym. Plus you're looking good. Plus you have a goal in mind. There's so many positive things that the only thing that messes you up is your mind or your association. So, or somebody discouraging you in your circle, or you being a follower and not a leader. And what I mean by that is you're hoping that somebody else, your best friend or your partner or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, is going to do this with you when they don't want to. And if they quit or they're discouraging, you know, then you start to feel discouraged, and then you start to kind of quit.
Yeah, I love what you said. And I think that a lot of people are kind of afraid maybe to kind of disrupt whether their immediate family, their social circles. I tell people, like, let your loved ones know, let the people you care about know, like, listen, this is a decision that I'm making, and it's either like you're with me or you're not. And you have to kind of, like, you know, draw the line in the sand. And if they're not, I say that if they really love you, they're going to support you through, you know, through the process. And it might be some hard conversations to have, but I think just put it out there in the universe that you're doing this. And it's, you know, you can't have, like, you know, I think that it's okay to, like, go some different ways, but especially if you are really obese and your health's a concern, especially now more than ever, like, being healthy is so important, you know, with all these, you know, things going on in the world. You have to just, like, put it out there in the universe, and, like, don't wait for the perfect time. You know, just start today, even if it's a small thing.
I think it's important that you condition your family. Like, let's say, for example, you want to become an MMA fighter and you don't know how to fight, right? So what you have to tell your family, hey, I'm going to do something wild and crazy. I'm going to be an MMA fighter. So guess what? I'm not a prize fighter, so I'm not going to get paid money yet, And guess what? I don't know how to fight, so I'm going to come back home with my ego and my face bruised. And you're going to tell me to quit because, number one, I'm getting beat up for free. Number two, I suck because I keep getting beat up. And number three, I look terrible because my face and my body is battered. But with time, you're going to get better. And as you get better, then you start commanding that prize. And then everybody all of a sudden is rooting and believing for you. But you got to start as an amateur. The same thing for weight loss journey. You're going to be grumpy. You're going to not understand what's going on. You're going to be achy. You're going to have pains. And so when you're doing that, people are going to discourage you and they're going to tell you, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I love you for you. You know, you look great. You know how many times people told me I look great when I just lost 10 pounds or 15 pounds or 20 pounds? It was like, you look great. You look great. You know, I could have taken that and said, oh, I look great. Everybody says I look great, you know, and I could have stopped. But it's your plan, your goal, your dreams. Don't stop until you want to stop.
So I wanted to ask you, because like I've been like kind of you know, I guess I don't know, battling is the right word. You know, I know at this point to be like stage lean and to be stage ready, it's definitely kind of past the point of like being healthy and that sort of thing. And I know, like, you know, what made you decide that you wanted to actually step on stage? Are you just like a all or nothing kind of guy? Did you want to like take it to the next, like what made you decide that you wanted to be on stage?
What made me decide to be on stage was pretty much like, what's the next goal? You know, I'm like, I went this far, and then my coach said, you know what, there's competing if you want to compete. And I had no idea that there were categories for transformation. You know, bodybuilding is now opening up, because what happens is that regular bodybuilding competitions, the competitor's lucky if their girlfriend or boyfriend shows up, right? But in transformation, you have the uncle, the aunt, the boss at work, the neighbors, everybody's welcoming. So transformation is like really a huge deal, because most of the general population can relate to having a problem with obesity or being too skinny and wanting to pack on muscle. So once I heard there was a transformation category, then it was full steam ahead in diving in to see all the people that had done it. And I saw all the transformation competitors. I saw all their Instagrams and Facebooks and their before and afters and this and that. And I said, man, I didn't go this far to just go this far. I want to do this, man. I want to do this. And I want to represent, you know, fitness. And I want to represent the transformation community. And I saw a lot of people falling off too, trying to lose weight. And I saw an interesting trend, which was people that were trying to go on a weight loss journey and then failing at it, and then all of a sudden justifying it, saying, you know what, I really don't need the six-pack, that I'm not that egotistical. But meanwhile, for 6 months, that's all they were talking about, was getting a six-pack. But because they couldn't achieve it, now, you know, they don't have an ego. So the thing was, like, I don't want to be one of those guys to say that it's okay to give up. I want to be those guys that actually can win, because there are a lot of winners in life. There are a lot of people that achieve and win. And, you know, I felt that social media and the world was just showcasing people failing too much, where it was becoming acceptable. Sure, you can fail. I failed 9 times, but the reason why I failed 9 times is I really wasn't trying, you know? And people that really try actually don't fail.
You just got to commit to it. I kind of agree. I know for me, and just, you know, having that powerlifting background, I had always noticed that when I signed up for a meet, that's when my training got serious, because it's like, okay, like now I'm going to be asked to perform on this date, and this is game day. And like, to me, that's why, like, once I had worked on, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this or not, but one of the things that I did that helped me on my weight loss journey is I set goals to go down a weight class, one weight class at a time. And then to my knowledge, I'm the only person that squatted 800 pounds in 6 weight classes, most notably in last November. But to me, like, that just kind of gave me something to shoot for. And then after I had squatted 800 at 198, I was like, okay, I kind of like checked off all those boxes. 181 wasn't really in the cards. I'd have to lose muscle for that, and it would get a little crazy. So that's when I was like, you know what? I think I just got to do this bodybuilding show, and I got to put myself out there. And this is the next goal. This is the next chapter. I accomplished kind of everything I set out to on the platform in powerlifting. I felt like I had really nothing else to prove there. And I wanted to, like, you know, how lean can I get? But like, to me, like, I was never the type of person that was like, oh, I just want to like look good for the beach, or I'll just do like a 12-week diet. Like, that never really excited me. But when I was like, oh, when it's like, you're signing up for a show, it's like, I was like, holy, I gotta like get my ass in gear, and I gotta like, I'm like, and then I don't know about you, but like, I got to work on the posing and all. Like, there's like so much more. There's so much more to it. But it really got me serious. It got me to, and then I felt like I was a beginner all over again. I had that white belt mentality, and I was hungry to learn, hungry for knowledge, and that was really exciting for me. And that was really cool. So I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm about 13 or 14 days out from stepping on stage for the first time. So even though, and it's really exciting. And
it's amazing when you're backstage, because you know what? Birds of the same feather fly together. So when you're backstage, you're surrounded around your peers, guys that really put in the work, guys that you can build a relationship with and a friendship with. You follow their feed, they follow yours. You're seeing that they're putting in max effort. It's a different world. It's a different breed and category of people. And, just working out is like driving a car, but competing is like flying a fighter jet, and that's a whole nother level. And, if you really want to understand your body, then you should compete, because it's going to let you tinker and play with food and really see what you got under there. Because a lot of people, you pack on a fat and you really think you have muscle, and when you lean out, you're like, oh my God, I'm missing this, I'm missing that, I'm missing this. So I think everybody should get lean at least once in their life, so that they can understand what they need to work on if they want to kind of build the physique that they want. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand? People renovate their homes. They renovate their homes. They make it custom. They renovate their cars. They get custom clothes, custom jewelry. Why can't you customize your body to what you want?
I love that. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, and I'm hoping that this, we'll see. We'll see. I'm curious your take on it. So there's a big kind of thing in the industry about body positivity and all this stuff, and you could be healthy at every size. I was just kind of curious your take on that, because I have my own opinions, especially being someone who was 340 pounds. I was over 40% body fat, and I do believe that there is a healthy body fat range you could be in. But so I'm just kind of curious, like, what is like your take on people that want to be like, well, I'm healthy at any size, or what would you say like to some of those?
Well, for me, I had a threshold weight. So whenever I was 300 pounds, I started getting sleep apnea. I'm only 5'8", so I started getting sleep apnea, chest pains. And then what was happening was, in bodybuilding, it's called progressive overload, right? So your body tends to adjust and grow. So it went from me having those problems at 300 pounds, crash dieting, to 280, 275, to going back up to 305 pounds. So then it was no longer at 300 pounds I was getting those ailments. It was 305. Then it was never at 305. It was 310, 315. So, I started measuring my health markers based on whenever I was getting those problems. The problem was that I was young enough for my body to continue to adjust and absorb those pains, and the threshold, the tolerance, the bar was getting raised higher and higher, but the risk was getting higher and higher too. So nobody had more confidence than me. I was very successful, great family, great assets and everything, and great life and happy. So sure, I had body positivity and all of that stuff. But the reality is that there's nothing wrong with, the same person that's talking about body positivity would love to drive up in a BMW. So what does that mean? You're a show off because you can afford a BMW or an Audi or a nice car? No, you like nice cars. You like nice things. Oh, you have the latest iPhone, so you have iPhone positive. I don't know. Like you want something nice, then go for it. What's wrong with having a nice physique and looking great in your clothes and not having 5 different sizes of clothes in your closet? You know what I mean? I mean, my clothes. I literally had clothes that I hung on to that went out of style, because I was hanging on to, no, I'm going to get that thin. I'm going to get that thin again, And meanwhile, it was just taking up space in my closet.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with everyone's got maybe a different ideal body that they want. And I think as long as you're comfortable and you're healthy and it's how you feel. But I do like what you said. I think that, I don't know, for me, just to see how far you could take your body, I think there's something to that. I think like you said, I'm learning so much more about nutrition and how the body works just by kind of going to that kind of extreme and just kind of seeing where I can take it. And then I'm kind of excited to see well, how is the rebuilding process going to work? How is the rebound going to work? How's my metabolism going to change? Where can I kind of get my weight to? And then like next year, maybe I'd like to be a similar level of body fat, but a little bit bigger, a little bit harder, a little bit wider. And then like you can kind of keep this going, and you could have
Oh
similar
yeah.
goals and keep
Yeah, you
going. So
have to.
it's
Like for
really
me
cool.
personally, you know, when you get down to a certain weight, you can't control where you're losing weight. So your face looks really, really thin. So for me, the ideal weight for me, I want to be like 188 pounds of all muscle because I like my face at 188 pounds. Some people, when they compete, their face gets really skeletal. I know mine did. So, and you look older and stuff like that. So for me, I want to put on size so that I can be totally ripped, but at the same time have at least the facial features that I want at the weight class.
Very cool. So, so how much longer are you going to be like kind of in this kind of bulking phase for? Are you like
I'm done with the bulking phase for now because first of all, I'm super curious to see what I built. Even though I stayed pretty lean, you know, I want to get back down to that. And I have so much other things going on in terms of our business, and we're doing a lot of videos, and we're going to be doing a lot more workout stuff. We have an app that's coming out, and so I want to be really, really ripped and lean. We're doing a lot of press and media appearances and interviews, so I want to do that. And so I might go one more off-season bulk, maybe in another year or something like that, or 6 months. But right now, I really want to see the work that I put in. So I'm starting my cut now. So I went from 210, so I'm like 200 pounds. And so we're going to go down to 190, see where I'm at, and then see, I'll probably drop down to like 185. And then we'll see what competitions open up for 2021.
Yeah.
And so I'll continue to kind of be 300 to 500 calories over my maintenance calories and pack on slowly a little bit more muscle wherever I need to. But I think I'll be pretty comfortable at that weight for at least a year. And what's cool about this is that you can turn it on, turn it off whenever you want. You know, I control my physical destiny. I control whether I want to do a show or not, that kind of thing. So, you know, for me, I want to do the rest of the transformation shows once they open up. There's like 5 of them around the world. So I want to do that to represent the transformation community, and then see if I want to cross over into a pro division. The reason why I don't cross over now is I have unfinished business in the transformation category. So I want to do that. And then also, once you compete in a pro division, you have to stick with that federation. Transformation is the only one that I could do transformation in all different federations without violating any of their rules. So once you get a pro card with a specific federation, then you're kind of like stuck in a contract, so to speak, with them. So I want to be able to kind of meet everybody in the industry, and I want to continue to represent the average person that wants to lose weight and transform.
Very cool, man. Well, next bulking phase, we got to throw some heavy weights around.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I got my wife on a bulk, and she's super strong. So every day she's amazing me. She just finished doing 35 push-ups, you know, as a female. And she's got an incredible 6-pack now, and deadlifting and squatting and doing all sorts of stuff. She's like an anomaly, you know. She has what they call beginner gains because she's never lifted weights before. So she has real, true beginner gains. So it's a pleasure because my training style is a little bit different. I take the best, kind of like Bruce Lee. He took the best of all the different, you know, martial arts forms and created his own. But I took the best of a little bit of CrossFit, a little bit of HIIT, a little bit of this style bodybuilding, that style bodybuilding, heavy, light bodybuilding. So I mix it all up, and I'm big on joints. I'm big on avoiding injury, but I'm also big on progress. Like we always have to get stronger. We always have to get faster, and we always have to see results. But none of it works without the nutrition.
Yeah, I love what you said too, because you know, coming from a powerlifting background, I know there's been I've gotten some people unfollowing me and things like that, and people get like really romantic about, are you a bodybuilder? Are you a powerlifter? Are you a CrossFitter? And it's like, you could like learn from all these people, and like you could like, you know, and I think it's good to be open-minded, and like you said, take what's useful, discard what's not, and see what works for you. You know, learn from yoga, learn from, you know, like all this stuff is like great. Fitness is a big umbrella. And, you know, for me, like I am biased towards strength because that's like kind of the world that I've lived in. And I believe that strength can be a great foundation, but learn from the bodybuilders, learn from the CrossFitters. There's stuff that you could take from everybody. And I think that's great. And
well, look at some of the biggest names in the strength and powerlifting world. They're all getting lean now. They're all having 6-packs. They're all getting ripped up. they're all now, you know, a couple of them are boxing each other now. So there's like, you know, they're trying, there's a whole big world out there. I love calisthenics. I'm the guy that will go through an incredible chest day and then still do 250 push-ups after a massive chest day. It does amazing things for me, you know, the joints, the flexibility, all that kind of stuff. Plus, psychologically and physically, I reserve enough energy. Even though I go all out on a chest day, I still have the energy to complete the calisthenics program that I designed. So you'd be surprised, all this, the dips and pull-ups and all that kind of stuff, where some people are anti-calisthenics or just this or just that. You can be everything.
I think it's going to be well-rounded. I just, on the point of calisthenics, in the documentary, I saw you like doing some training. I think it was like in Coney Island. So I had to find it. I took a little trip out there. I did some pull-ups and some,
nice.
some things like that. I had to recreate my little like Lolli workout on the beach there. I felt pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
No, that you know, this documentary has been so amazing. You'd be surprised. I get like 500 to 1,000 DMs and messages on Facebook and Instagram, and you know, I try to get back to as many people as possible. I really focus on the ones that you'd be surprised how inspired people are, but you'd be surprised some of the messages I get where people were like near ready to commit suicide because of the way they looked or how bad they felt, and how, you know, a lot of dads and moms, you know, I get a lot of moms, you know, that have issues with them being obese and their children. I have people that have been hospitalized. So I feel a responsibility and a duty to communicate and encourage these people and continue to thrive and grow.
Well, it's been amazing chatting with you, man. I don't know how much when you got to cut out because I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's been really amazing, but I know like people are not familiar with like the documentary or where they can find you as far as the people on my page. Like where can they learn more about you?
Basically, my Instagram, Anthony Lolli. They can find me there, or just on Amazon Prime. Just type in Fat Lolli, FATLOLLI, like lollipop. You can watch the documentary. If you have Prime, it's free. Otherwise, it's on YouTube Movies. It's also on iTunes, on Google Play. It's the #1 documentary on Amazon now. At first, it was the #1 fitness documentary. Now it's like the #1 documentary. And so, and you know, it pretty much tells the story. And I bring you behind the curtain to what it's like, first of all, to lose weight. Not only to lose weight, but to figure out you have loose skin, go through a loose skin surgery, and then recover in incredible time, and then go compete on stage. And so, you know, I never knew about this bodybuilding world. All I knew is like these big guys, and I never thought it was such an approachable and likable world, and how, you know, incredible the people in the bodybuilding industry are, and how welcoming they are to hard workers. If you're a hard worker and you're determined, you're welcome into the club. And that, you know, is something that even when I was 300 pounds working out, you know, the high fives started coming after I was going consistent. The big guys started coming up to me and encouraging me after they knew that I wasn't just, you know, going to come for a couple days and quit. So I noticed that. And so I try to do the same thing to other people that I see that are, and you'd be surprised how your transformation motivates already fit people. It's insane.
Yes. I love what you said. I think for people like listening and maybe they're just starting out, like you can always control your attitude. You can always control your effort. So come in with a positive attitude, bring in lots of effort. The success will come, but if you bring in a positive attitude, you put in a lot of effort, and you keep repeating that over and over again, you're going to like attract people. People are going to help you. People are going to support you. And it's an amazing thing. And man, like I said, I know this is a big part of our lives, and it's been, you've been an inspiration to me. I think, you know, like you said, birds of a feather flock together. And
I can't wait to work out with you. I'm definitely going to come out to Long Island. I'll come out to you.
I'm holding you to it. We're gonna smash some things, and I got like a lot of cool things. I'd love to like collaborate and learn from you, and I think that's what it's all about. Learn from each other. Man, it's been great. So definitely give Anthony a follow. If you guys enjoyed this live chat, please share it with a friend. Spread the message of strength, because a lot of people need to hear this. It's tough times, and like you said, this is like, as much as this is physical, it's psychological. So if we can provide some inspiration to people getting started, please reach out. Please share this message with someone who needs to hear it. And thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, stay strong.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
All right.
Thanks, brother.
Bye.